Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina is fast becoming a popular tourist destination. Situated on the Neretva River, it's a UNESCO heritage site and is famed for its quaint medieval markets and picturesque landscape. However, just a few decades ago, Mostar was at the forefront of the biggest genocide in Europe since the Second World War. Lasting from 1992 to 1995, the Bosnian War saw Muslim Bosniaks, Orthodox Serbs and Catholic Croats take arms and engage in a bitter conflict of so-called ethnic cleansing. More bombs were dropped in Mostar than in any other city. 2,000 were killed and tens of thousands were forcibly displaced. One of the city's most iconic landmarks, the starry Mostar Bridge, was destroyed. However, since being rebuilt in 2004, it has become a symbol of reconciliation. And people who live on either side of the river now come together every day to dive from this bridge.
Mostar has always been and will always be a city of three religions. Those religions fought a war that definitely took its toll on the city. But now there are very few problems, and we believe bridge diving has been one of the most important ways to bring the city together.
Bridge diving here is centuries old. It's become a rite of passage for hundreds of locals who, once experienced enough, join the Mostar Diving Club and perform for the tourists. The divers rely on donations to make their living, but it's important for them to keep their heritage alive.
This tradition is nearly 400 years old. People used to jump off this spot centuries ago, and we will continue to do so. We were just children, really, when we first became fixated by it. We would watch our idols as they jumped off the bridge, and we couldn't wait to do it.
Back when I first started diving, many things were going through my head because I was nervous. But now I don't think about anything. I just focus on the bridge, the water and myself. I look for the correct place to dive and just focus on hitting that exact spot.
None of the divers are professionally coached, so they learn by watching other members of the club. They occasionally compete in regional competitions in Mostar. The river is relatively shallow and rocky, so they have to hit a particular spot.
The old bridge is 25 meters high and the river depth is just 5 meters. So it's really important to enter the water correctly. You're only in the air for 3 seconds, but you hit the water at high speed. The water has rocks in it, and it's cold too. It's important to cool the body down before the jump to avoid temperature shock. The main danger, though, is getting the jump right from such a height. It can be life-threatening. We've had a few fatalities.
Although there are dangers involved with diving in Mostar, the popularity of the sport and the stunning scenery persuaded Red Bull to begin holding a round of the Cliff Diving World Series here in 2015. The event draws large crowds and some of the world's best cliff divers. But how do the locals feel about this new brand muscling in on their age-old tradition?
The Red Bull competition is good for the city. It prolongs the diving season here, attracts big crowds and brings in tourism. When it comes to comparing the jumps we do and those that the cliff divers do, I must say that they are very different. They jump in a different way to the two styles we use. We either jump in head first or feet first, like a swallow. Both jumps are quite dangerous. In fact, we got talking to some of the Red Bull divers after they'd seen us jump, and they said to us they would probably never dare to try what we do from that height.
The divers consider themselves the modern-day bridge keepers of this city. This city was once divided, suffered terrible bombardment and almost fell. Today, the only thing falling in Mostar is the thrill-seeking divers.